everybody, how are you? It's a beautiful, glorious day in Vancouver, and thanks for being here. If you're a regular subscriber, thanks guys, I'm really glad you're here. And if you're new, I'm really glad you're here too. Anyway, it's glorious today. I'm so happy when the sun's out because it really does make me feel better. All right, you saw that quote, right? Empowering yourself to age really well. All right, I really need to talk about this. And when I come up with these things, I try to stay away from reading group stuff because it's personal. You know what? Deciding that you're going to empower yourself to age really well, it's personal. It has absolutely nothing to do with what you put on your face, how you comb your hair, if you're gray, if you're dyeing your hair, if you're wearing all black like I always do, or you're wearing whatever you want to wear and maybe you shouldn't be wearing it because you're a certain age. Hogwash. Nope, absolutely not. Empower yourself to age really well. And I know this for sure. There is absolutely nothing on the outside of us that can make us age well. Absolutely nothing. Oh, there are things that you can do. They're temporary though. Get a new hairstyle. Oh my gosh, I feel so great. It's temporary. Or I'll do this, I'll do that, like to my face, or I'll get my tatas made prettier. It's all temporary. Or I will, once I marry this really cool guy or whatever, and I'm going to feel so better about my life, so much easier. Or, oh my gosh, I can't even think of all the things that I hear women say. Or I hear women say, oh, if I just, if I had, if I wasn't living here, like my life would be so much easier and aging wouldn't be so difficult. I've heard so many things, but I want you to know this. If you're using any of those things, you're not alone. I have to, okay? So I love this because when we can have this conversation, I can say, I've been there and I've done that until I grew up and I started, and when I mean grew up, I mean a lot of the growing's been in the last 5 years. So if you're like in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, 60s, yes, you can still change it. Okay, so I was 33 and I had already lived a lot of things that I wish I hadn't had to go through in my life. I did have my 3 beautiful children, and I still have my 3 beautiful children, but I needed to start changing me because I started, like when you become the prisoner of, oh my gosh, I'm trying to word this. You start believing what other people tell you about you, who you are. And so I don't even know if I can say these words, and I guess I'll get bleeped out, but when you live a life where you are called a whore, a slut, where you are called stupid, fat, and ugly, that stuff's in our head. And it's really, really hard when it's really heavy stuff to get it out of our heads. And it took me a long time. I got rid of a lot of stuff. The fat part took the longest, actually. I knew I wasn't stupid. I knew I wasn't stupid the day they were calling me stupid, but I became a prisoner of all that kind of language. And so I remember it was in a newspaper, and I don't know what the article was about. I'm sure it was something about Harry Truman or whatever, like years ago. And one of his quote was, "The buck stops here." And I love that quote because to me I often refer to something in my life as a life preserver. I saw that and I grabbed it and I cut it out of the newspaper and I clipped it inside my jewelry box. And I went, you know what? The buck stops here. So with all that stuff going on outside of me, I had to start teaching myself and learning on what I was going to take in. All this stuff was coming at me from the outside, but what was really going on in the inside. And I needed to stop and breathe and start seeing the power of me. And so this is why I want to, of course, now scoot ahead to where I am at 73. And of course, now we're all being told how aging looks, what we should be doing so we don't feel like we're aging and all of that. Well, first of all, I am so grateful that I'm aging to be here today. In fact, in front of YouTube. And so, do you know what? There is absolutely nothing that you can buy, that you can put on, where you can go, what you can receive, that is going to make the aging process go really well. Everything on the outside is a trinket, it's a bell, it's an accessory. The real, true, really doing it well aging process, it's in here. You all have it already, but you just need to clean up your thinking, and you need to not buy into what you're hearing about. Okay, so if you join this, oh my gosh, it's going to be easier for you. It's like, you're going to feel so empowered. You're not. You might for a moment, you might for a month, you might for 6 months, maybe even a year. But you know what? If it's not coming from in here, it's temporary. The same as whether it's a hairdo or whether it's Botox or whether it's even losing weight or whether it's, just anything on the outside isn't going to, or you know what, I just like doing all these, you got to exercise, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to stay mobile, you have to, you must. Silence. I'm telling you, all those things are awesome, but if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't learn first that you have all the power, yes, you have the power to empower yourself to go through the aging process with a really great attitude. And that means, we'll often hear, well, once you start menopause, this and this and this and this and this and this and this, all that's going to happen to you. Well, yes, it may, or it may not. It's like, I don't know how good it is to be aware of all the things that could possibly happen to you. I mean, if it's life-threatening or something, and I had moments where I was a bit crazy when I went through menopause. Well, I just kept saying, I was going to get through this. And I did. I mean, I took a very positive attitude about it because it was a new phase in my life. I looked at it more as, all right, so I have these beautiful kids. They're growing up, becoming more independent, and I get to go through this. I'm going to have no more of that monthly thing following me. Oh my gosh. So it's something new for me to go through, a new phase in my life. So I worked with having a very positive attitude about that. Of course, being aware, of course, being cautious. Like I'm saying, don't ignore something serious. And this is a conversation we're having that I would like you to consider. And now as I get older, because I don't think at 73 that I have actually aged all that much. And I'm really glad I'm here. So often, just because something is happening to a certain group, or, people will do studies and they say, okay, well, this is happening, or at this age, this should happen and that should happen. Your attitude and stopping and saying, I can empower myself with really good thoughts. I don't have to go there. I don't have to buy into everything that everybody's telling you what is going to come on you because you are aging. Do you know what? For me, I say it often. People say, well, age is only a number. Well, it goes beyond that for me. Aging is an attitude. How do you feel about it? Can you look for the good in things? Can you just like say, well, you know what? Just because that happened to her or to him or to them, or just because this has happened to everybody in my family, that doesn't mean it has to happen to me. I am my own person. Control over what is happening to me. In fact, I control probably most of the things that happen to me. So you know what? I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but it really kind of scares me that I find that a lot of women are, I get a lot of really nice compliments and people go, oh my gosh. And well, I mean, I still think they're nice compliments. I would never have guessed that you're 73. And I go, thank you. And I appreciate it. And I don't get into, oh, well, maybe that just was, what do you mean for my age or whatever? Oh, please let it go. Thank you very much. Well, what do? I have a really great attitude about life. Oh, you must have had a really easy life. Actually, quite the opposite. And then remember, the aging process, it's all in here. So make sure that's really strong. Make sure that you understand it. And then go and get your hair done to make yourself feel better, or do something, whatever is going to make you feel good. That's what you should do. Not what anybody tells you. Do what makes you happy. That's where it starts. Do what you want to do, not what somebody tells you you should do or tells you how it should look. Aging doesn't have a certain look. Be you. Let me know, do we want to talk about this a little bit more, or do we just let it go? Okay, guys, have a really great weekend coming up. And yes, I'm putting lots of short videos out there. I'm playing around with it. Hey, if you guys could just like them as they're going through, they're very short, I'd appreciate it. And of course, if you like this video, a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Love you. And remember, there is no future in our past. Let's start empowering the woman within us so she can come out and say, hold on, I got this. Bye.